of you? Can I request you to be honest with me? Please raise your hands if you are married. All of you? How many of you would like to improve your performance as husband or wife? Raise your hand. Many of you? All right, thank you. How many of you are businessmen? How many of you own business? Some of you? Right. How many of you would like to improve your business? All of you? Good. Now what you need to do is just listen to me, watch me, hear me next 15 minutes. I'm sure when you go back from here, you would get better skills. Join me, walk with me to become a super PR. But before I begin, let me ask you another question. Do you know who is Charlie Lubin? You have not heard about him, right? How about Sara Lee, the famous bakery brand? You must have eaten brand, right? Okay, many products of Sara Lee. There is a story behind Sara Lee. Charlie Lubin was a normal, average human being living in a small village in USA. And it was his dream to make his company one of the best international brands. But the only roadblock in his dream was his financial inability. He couldn't raise a big money. Then he decided to go for a very inexpensive public relation campaign. His wisdom ended up as an article in the Wall Street Journal. Sara Lee Baking Bonanza. With that one article in the Wall Street Journal, there was no looking back. Overnight, his company, he himself was getting a lot of orders. And in their attempt to garner greater publicity, you know what he did? He and his PR team made a theatrical play in front of food auditors during a conference in Chicago. Again, that didn't end up there. They contacted many trade outlets and then started giving advertisements to reach supermarket, retailers, all the people who are associated with trade. And after years, Sara Lee became one of the most favorite bakery brand all over the world. Why to go to USA? I have a lot of friends in Bahrain who are living examples of making PR campaign their success stories. Let me tell you about my friend Anju. She came from India with big dream to start her own venture and no money in his hand. He came to me and she told me, Sajida, I want a small favor from you. I want to start a business, but you know, I don't have much cash with me. How can we do that? Well, you know, we made a plan. We started making a small PR campaign. What we did was very simple. We started browsing the Facebook, all the popular groups, TikTok groups, Expats Bahrain, Moms in Bahrain, and a lot more of groups. We started following. We started commenting. Due course of time, we could see that many people are recognizing us. And then a day came when Anju started Smart Academy, an institution to teach drawing and painting. We followed the same PR method. Every time a new student gets admission, we used to post his or her photo on the Facebook. Welcome, Master Brian. Welcome, Miss Bindu. And this way. To tell you the truth, now after 5 years, Anju is owning 5 branches of Smart Academy all over Bahrain. Isn't it such a brilliant thing to happen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is this public relations skill? What is it actually? How can we define it? Anybody would like to help me? Public relation is leveraging the social media channels to promote your organization and to protect its positive image and to increase public perception of your company. This is to define. But if you want to become a good PR, you need to be aware of 3 types of media. You said you are married, right? Have you ever posted your wife's picture on Facebook? Always? So I asked the wrong person then. How would you pick your name, Mohammed Salim? Never. Look at that. So, what you need to do, in spite of your busy life, if you want to be a better husband, try this, which I tried. You know my work schedule is from 6 to 6, 12 hours straight. I have one daughter, she's here, her time 7 to 7. My husband's duty time 9 to 9, which is better for us. But how I maintain the relationship? In a very smooth way, 20 years now, we just celebrated our 23rd wedding anniversary. So, surprised? Yes. There are ways. Last month was his birthday. I couldn't celebrate, I was very busy with my school and stuff. But something I did. I took one of his handsome young photo, posted in Facebook with the story, I love you darling, you're the light of my life, without you I wouldn't be. Yes, long story. 250 likes by the end of the day. When he came back, I showed him, look at this Satish, how do you like it? He said, wow, even it is sure that he wouldn't be able to reach these 250 people even if he was directly calling. Even his friends and his relatives in the UK and US, they have commented, happy birthday Satish. This brought a smile on his face. This is a simple technique that you can try. How about you? Do you have a boyfriend?
I don't have.
Still searching. Okay, so what you have to do, use the social media. You can, very easily you will get boyfriends. So, let me talk to you about the 3 types of media. The first one is the one that I gave you an example right now, which is owned media. This is a media that we own. We own the post. We control our post. We control everything. And the second one is earned media. Earned media is like this. Now we are in the TMX event. When I go back, I post in the Facebook that I got a wonderful opportunity to be part of the TMX event. And then you go and share the same thing in your Facebook. You go and do a live story. So TMX is repeatedly coming everywhere. This is the indirect publicity that TMX, the event organizer, is getting. This is something called earned media. You earn the reputation. You earn the recognition. And the third one is paid media. When you open a browser, you see some advertisements keep passing, right? This is an example for paid media. You don't have to spend a big budget. You just need to plan and just keep aside a small budget for paid media. These 3 medias, usage of it wisely will take you very far away, whether it is personal relationship or friends or business. But be aware of the existence of these 3 media. Another thing, it's not only the awareness of media which is going to help you. You need to know what are the strategies, what are the tools that can help you to become a super PR. You must have watched film awards events, right? A lot of sponsors, a lot of audience, a lot of people keep watching you. So try to join such events, try to be part of such events, learn from such events, how they are organizing, try from your own level. These are some strategies. But awareness of the media and strategies are not enough. You yourself as a PR, you need to develop certain skills. Can somebody help me with what's the most important skill that a PR should have?
Communication.
Speaking. Listening. Anything else? Writing. Well, you brought it out all. We can call it as CCPPW. C stands for communication. C again stands for creativity. Here I would like to tell you another example of Coca-Cola Company. 4 years back, 2 fans of Coca-Cola Company, they were totally dissatisfied with the lack of an authoritative, a very productive Facebook page of Coca-Cola. What these 2 fans did was to start their own page. What do you think Coca-Cola Company would have done? Coca-Cola Company gave a job. What's your assumption? Again. They sponsored the page. Yeah. Quite surprisingly, Coca-Cola Company, they adopted that page. They used that page. And majority of the source, the content, they used from the celebrities through that page. And still, they are using the same page. Their own company page is no more existing. So this is another trick that I want to share with you. So this is a skill. You need to be communicative. Like Sarah Lee and Charlie Lubin, you need to be creative, innovative. Think out of the box. Do not do something that everybody does every time. Think of something in a different way. So these are the skills. C says communicative and creative. P and P, patient and pleasing. If you want to be a successful PR, you need to be patient in your relationship with people. People are your customers, and it's very difficult to deal with people. So you need to be very pleasing and patient. And W, here I got the answer, writing skill. As I told you, when I was posting my husband's happy birthday picture, I didn't just post the picture. I gave a short story, a small narration, which attracted the people. So this is something that you can try. In addition to all the skills, there are digital tools. This is the digital age. There are a lot of digital tools available, which is very, very inexpensive. Comparing to a very expensive marketing ad, using the simple devices, you can reach your destination in a very, very shorter time as well. I hope if I just throw back, remember, you need to be communicative, you need to be patient, you need to be innovative, and then you need to be part of the many social media channels, Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. Follow your customers, start posting comments. This will really give you very, very high returns. Before I leave, can you ever imagine that you all became part of the marketing, the public relation campaign of TMX? Any idea? You were on Facebook Live until now, and you were on Instagram story. She was doing that for the TMX. Yours truly, DTM Sanjita Satish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Sanjita Satish. Moving on, our next speaker is an educator and an entrepreneur. He led the largest district in the world in 2016, which consisted of 7 countries in the Middle East and over 360 plus clubs. He is currently a Region 11 advisor for Middle East, Africa, and Pakistan. He's going to talk about something called applied Toastmasters. He asks, how far have you come with all the blessings and learnings? Presenting Applied Toastmasters, put your hands together for none other than DTM Ali Shehbaz.
Check, 1, 2. Audience at the back, am I audible? Check, 1, 2, 3. Good. No? Check, 1, 2 at the back. Yes. It's good? Great. Round of applause for the MC. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, our MC today fit my mic as you saw, and he didn't look confused because he has done it many times. So how many of you are confused in life? How many of you are normal? Or how many of you are normally confused? That's a good number. My 7-year-old daughter, a few days back, she actually asked me, Baba, can you buy me a smartwatch? In my first grade, my friend has a smartwatch. To my surprise, I went in kind of a mental shock and analysis. What will a 7-year-old actually do with a smartwatch? So I happened to ask questions like, do they give you so much homework about rocket science that you need a smartwatch? Do you get emails from your school principal? Very hard calculations or weather forecast using the smartwatch? But nothing of that sort came to me. What I understood, it was just a matter of showing off in the class. Already 1/4 of the class actually has a smartwatch. So the other kids, they go back to their parents and they want a smartwatch also. Being an educator, I'm in a field of research, continuously developing myself when it comes to knowledge. And I'm an instructor or a professor who is not little tech savvy, but eventually a little more, because I teach robotics, artificial intelligence, coding, until my brain goes scrambled. I did some research on, that was supposed to be the first screen, Applied Toastmasters. You see all that tools, you're not going to use them actually. The tires have been changed before, previously. I did some research on understanding different generations, different timelines. So I saw some of it coming to me from Baba Google. That's the place where we all go when we talk about research. You see, the generation which we know about much before us, the baby boomers, supposedly very rich people in history, own big corporates, companies, kind of economy still depends on them. And their children, their grandchildren are also enjoying the fruits of their hard work until today, all over the world. And then comes the Generation X, the famous generation. How many of you recall Generation X? Good, I knew that there will be some Generation X in the audience. Now Generation X got introduced to a little bit of social media, marketing, ICQ chat and all that, Yahoo chat. And then came the next generation, the millennials. Always one hand is quite busy. And then now the Generation Z, not one hand, sometimes two hands and also the toes. Lot of information has been exchanged over the net. A lot of data, don't you think? And now, being an educator, I feel there is, in undergraduates, a term called graduate in big data. There is a specialization just to understand data, how to filter. And there are certifications in the world on using data, data privacy, data security. A lot of it is flowing on the internet. There was a time, ladies and gentlemen, talk about baby boomers or maybe Generation X. When you wanted to do some research, you had to actually walk, drive, take a cab, public transport to a faraway city library. Have you noticed that? And when you go there, you do your research, you come back home, you put some of your experiments and you present your thesis. And I've been seeing this from past 15 plus years in my life. When many students come up to us and start defending their DIVA, their research, over the years what I've noticed, their practical experience is less, but more experience is picked from Baba, Google. Lately I asked one of my students who was proudly presenting the research in a very dynamic way, how much of it is your actual innovation? How much of this is your work? He still defended, no, it's my work, I just got inspired. But when we give them a practical examination, there is where we find out it wasn't their work actually. In developing countries those days, people had problems with transport. Walking far or going far away to a city library was a big deal. So what some of them used to do, can you guess? No need to go to the library. Let me put my practical experience and make the research my own. But we had a journey from the library to social media where no need to walk into a library. I'm from Harak and I was so happy back in 2000s. If you might have seen only one famous roundabout in Busaiti. How many of you have seen that? They opened a public library there. We were so happy that I used to walk from my house, go to the library, and even though there was social media, but I used to read books. And early days of my college, I did some research that way because I used to enjoy. And we knew the timings when girls would also come to the library. It was fun. We did our research in many case analysis, I would say. But now social media has it all. The libraries are getting empty. Internet is playing a big role in our lives. And you see that picture, internet is something like this. You get a lot of information flowing. When I today start a research topic, and maybe you can relate to this, I pick a topic, that topic leads me to another topic, then this topic leads me to another topic, then another topic, only to find out I even forgot what I sat here for. And then I go back, starting all the way again. This happens to you, ladies and gentlemen, also? So this is the internet. Data flow, heavy data, coming from different researchers, innovative, and to tell you the truth, we have dark web also now, or deep web. More data is flowing from unknown resources. Have they been tested, tried? We really don't know. But it's all out there. And sometimes it's funny when we catch our students with the highest number of plagiarism. Because they paraphrase their thesis and they say it's their own. But being in the business, we know how much they own it and how much others own it from unknown resources. These are the few brands of overflow of data on the internet. There are thousands of brands, thousands playing with our mind. When I think of a child, it's like a pure glass of jug and we pour in so much information from different sources. And then we as parents, we as siblings, we think, why is our child or why this young generation is changing? They are changing because of all the data flow. The problem is not just that. The Problem is, with all the data flow, how much are they executing? And if that data is a dangerous one, which can malign their minds, they would execute it in a wrong way. Or if they cannot execute what they want to do, they might do something silly because it's there in the head, all the data. Information anxiety. How many of you have heard this before? Good. Lot of data, less execution, more thoughts. What should I do? I heard about this thing on the internet. Where should I execute this? Where should I go? And this creates more problem with the behavior, emotional intelligence. And people fall in emotional anxiety. Now, how many guests are in the hall? Okay, 1, 2, great, 3. So for the guests, just to let you know, this is the Toastmasters International latest program. It's an amazing one, very robust. You should join Toastmasters today. Okay, this program is an amazing one, lately formed by Toastmasters International after a lot of research, fits the corporate world. Each program here or each module is a part on its own. So what happens coming back to Toastmasters? Once a Toastmaster told me, Diti and Ali, can I check everything and then decide which path to choose? I was like, seriously, why do you want to do that? Just write on a piece of paper your strengths, your weaknesses. If you're bad in persuasing in your corporate meetings, go for persuasive influence. If you're bad in giving presentations, go for presentation. Don't read everything. There'll be so much of information and little execution which is going to confuse you. This is a normal cycle we look at. Goals, thoughts, action, results. People have different diagrams. I just picked this. We know our goals in life. We know our purpose. We get stuck in thoughts for a very long time, be it a university research, corporate life. That's the place when we hit the data part on the internet. We just dwell so much on the data, on our thoughts. It plays with our mind that we don't even think of actions, and then we want amazing results. So this was the example I was giving before about pathways or any other knowledge you want to perceive. If you are reading something about it, try to execute it before you go deep down and then you don't know what to do next. What's the problem exactly? Easy, quick, and simply so much information and less application. What happened with me, today I stand in front of you twice the district parliamentarian. For the guests, that's one role which nobody or not everybody wants to touch because there's a lot of reading, governing documents, constitution, district bylaws, Toastmaster protocols and policies. We don't want to go there. It's kind of a very hard job to read all that. But how did I read it? Because back in 2005, one of my mentors, Nomen Hilongos, when I became the president of the club, there was a conflict in the club. He took me that night to the KFC in Adliya, we sat together and he gave me some documents to read. And that process was the second time. Even when I was VP Education, he hammered me good. So we went through the documents and looking at the bunch which he brought with him, I was kind of confused. I got to read all this? He said, yes, you have to. And I'm going to ask you every time when we meet some section. And you got to understand all this. I was like, okay. But what happened with that mentoring, real life exchange of thoughts? What happened was, I actually built my foundation. I read, I applied in the club meetings. I read, I applied in the club meetings. So what I do today, I don't do anything extra. When other districts, they call me or different countries, talking about parliamentary procedures, because my foundation is strong, I did research, I executed, applied, and that's how I built my base. So you can ask me questions on parliamentary procedures, but if you are going to ask me questions today about pathways, I would humbly apologize. I would forward it to Manjula and Nagendra. So I didn't do my research work there still, but someday I will. We dwell in thoughts rather than action. In thoughts, there is a saying called, something my friend Vivek told me, paralysis by analysis. So this is what we hit at always by dwelling so much in thoughts. How many of you know them? By show of hands? That's a good number. For those who don't know them, when people come and tell me I'm a DTM 4 times, 3 times, I just get shocked, okay? Would you want to come with me to a corporate demo meeting? Let's do a corporate demo meeting. I really need that kind of experience. The guy chickens out. Sorry, I can't. I never did it before. So, DTM Joel, he has 1 DTM. He's been in Toastmasters for a very long time. So my point here is, it doesn't matter how many DTMs you got. What matters is, did you execute all what you know over the years? Not your certifications, not your degree at times. It's good, matter of prestige, yes. I would be happy, Dr. Ali, wow. But did I do my research? And a question to everybody, would you get operated from a doctor who did his degree online or actually experienced it? DTM Madhavi Tiwari is not yet a DTM. So, and she's called for major events. Exactly, see Shukri's face, she's not a DTM. More execution. Okay, can you go to the next slide? The magic happens in execution, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Hope you enjoyed it. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Ali Shabazz, for teaching us about applied Toastmasters. Now I know that you're itching to stretch your legs once again, but we have to go through one more person. And he is going to be presenting the summary once again of the 3 speakers who just spoke on stage. Once again, a sales engineer, loves to read and play dominoes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Toastmaster Vivek Thilakan.
The villain is back. I'm still stopping you from stretching your legs. So we had 3 fantastic speakers. Our first speaker, Toastmaster Hisham, he took us through how to craft a story. What I liked about his speech was, he began with the small tidbits of stories that hooked us, that got our attention, and then he gave out the message. Great lessons come from great stories. Going forward, he gives the 5 techniques: characters, conversations, conflict, chuckles, cutoffs, and through all of this, you make the connection, you make the marriage connection, let's say, informal. So this is Toastmaster Hisham in a nutshell, but I noticed something in your speech. When you were giving your stories, I noticed the way how you were describing great white van, isn't it? Yeah, and red shirt. He has this description of these objects of this story, and that actually painted a visual picture in my mind. So I sort of started thinking, you have an extra technique beyond what you had mentioned, specifically expressions. Can you share a little bit about that?
See, I tell people this a lot, and it can be a little controversial. Toastmasters is this much, public speaking is this much. So, when you start off, the easiest way to speak is to speak from personal experience. That's why the first speech we give is the icebreaker. But as you go along, even if you're a small child, the first ice cream you have might be vanilla ice cream or strawberry. But then you add chocolate sauce, then you add sprinkles, then you add extra scoops. So visual imagery is a speech technique, and you will also notice that it is a rule of 3. It's a great big truck, a bright red t-shirt. So that's also the rule of 3 with visual imagery. You can also add rhyming to that. You can also add, if you remember, I say craft, convert, condense. So this is the use of, again, rhyming words. Alliteration also. So if you can use alliteration with a triad, then it makes it more sticky. Great speeches are not written. Great speeches are rewritten. The magic comes from editing. Now, many times in many forums, it is said that the greatest speech ever given is Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. There is a misconception that this speech was written on the train ride to the Gettysburg battlefield. It is wrong. There are 32 different versions of this different speech, and each version has been edited, edited, and interestingly, there is one version which was edited after the speech was given. Great speeches are not written, they are rewritten. The magic is in the editing, and the editing comes from learning. And the learning is in the Muharrak library, which you should visit. I hope that answers your question.
That was a speech in itself. So now you got the secondary effect apart from that. That was Toastmaster Hisham. And then we have the peer lady who took us through, beginning with Charlie Lubin. She went out through her own story of Mr. Anju, right? Anju. And he started 5 smart connects using small, simple peer techniques, commenting, building virtual relationships, and leveraging that for their business. And that goes, she described 3 medias: paid media, earned media, direct media. And she advised us to go to events, make a lot of commentary, and make a virtual puzzle so that they see you and then they come to you. So that was Toastmaster DTM Sajita's speech in a nutshell. So I have a question. In this virtual world, won't there be, for example, there's this case of bullying, there's this case of bad comments coming up in your page, in your social media techniques. So just like positive effect can happen, negative effect happen. How do you handle that in short words?
When you post something in any one of the 3 media, I said you need to be creative, you need to be unique, and you need to use your wisdom. Once you make a post like this, from where the bad comments will come? Bad comments or bad responses come if we just randomly post something. If you are planning about it, if you are visualizing, this is going to hit this target people, and I want this particular effect. If you're really thinking about it and then post it, I'm not anticipating any negative comments.
So DTM Sajita, tailor make your words and craft it very well so that you don't get caught in sticky situations. That was DTM Sajita. And then we have our district director who had built this fantastic story. Okay, now I understood why he wants to go to Mohawk Library, because of the girls. But again, he showed to us how information overload comes into our heads. We'll have to get out by a very, very simple tactic. At the end of the day, his speech comes down to this: stop talking, start doing. It's like he's the ultimate anti-Toastmaster. Stop talking, start doing. That's a DTM Ali Shahbaz. So my question to you is, you spoke about this because you specifically found a lot of us meandering, isn't it? We are not doing the work for it. We are doing a little bit of work, but we are asking a lot more questions. But we just have to start doing it. So, how do you think that, when we start doing something, but again these questions come up, and then again we go out. But you say we have to go deep inside, isn't it? We have to do deep inside and do our research. Doesn't it take a lot of time? And in a time-limited world of today, how do we manage that? Doing a lot of research.
Thank you, Vivek, for that wonderful question. I was over time, so good you gave me time now. I'll finish what I couldn't at that time. So, I'm not saying go deep and do deep research. What I'm trying to say here is, whatever little we know, try to execute if it is very executable. I personally see in Toastmasters, or even in profession, in Toastmasters alone, there are members, very few, and probably they need some more time to learn. They attend every workshop, and sometimes they are in the first row also. I'm seeing them for many years, nearly 2 decades, but I don't see the change. Change in the behavior, change in ethics, in integrity, or whatever way it is. Just giving a good speech for 2 minutes. So I need to see that change, and that's what I want to bring. And thank you, TMX event, to let me talk about this change.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stop Talking, Start Doing by DJ Malaysia Buzz. And with that, I'll sign off. You'll be bothered by me just once again. That's all. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, right after the break, 3 wonderful speakers to round out the event of tonight. Once again, refreshments are there. Time at the moment is 6:45. We will be back 10 minutes, which means 6:55.